After the First Continental Congress, the colonies created militias or armies. These soldiers were called Minutemen because they were said to be ready for battle at a minute's notice. General Thomas Gage heard that these militias formed and that they had weapons in Concord, Massachusetts. He also heard that Samuel Adams and John Hancock would be meeting in nearby Lexington. He planned to send more than 700 British soldiers to arrest Adams and Hancock, the leaders of the Sons of Liberty, and to take all of the weapons being stored in Concord. General Thomas Gage wanted to surprise the colonists. He wanted the soldiers to destroy the colonists' weapons, and on the way to Concord, they would go through Lexington to arrest Adams and Hancock. The soldiers left Boston at night on April 18th, 1775. They thought that no one had noticed that they left. They did not realize the colonists were watching them. The colonists had a plan. If the soldiers were moving by land, they would put one lamp in the church tower. If they were moving by sea, they would put two lamps in the church tower. This was the signal to the colonists that the soldiers were on the move. Paul Revere, William Dawes, and Dr. Samuel Prescott were sent to warn the leaders. Revere saw two lamps in the church tower and knew that the soldiers were coming by ship to the Charles River. The three men took different routes and went by horseback, warning the colonists that the redcoats were coming. They made it to Lexington and warned Adams and Hancock, who also left their homes and headed towards Concord. However, after leaving Lexington, Revere and Dawes were spotted by British patrol and their horses were taken away. Luckily, Dr. Prescott was able to get away and made it to Concord to warn the colonists there. Lexington. In the early morning of April 19, 1775, British soldiers marched into Lexington. Awaiting them were 70 Minutemen on the Lexington Green. Both sides were told not to fire unless they were fired upon. Major John Pitcairn of the British told the colonists to lay down their arms and disperse. Captain John Parker, in charge of these Minutemen, told them to go home. Many men started walking away, but suddenly a shot was heard. It is unknown who fired the shot, but it is known as the shot heard round the world, since it was the start of the Revolutionary War. Many more shots were fired, but the Minutemen were greatly outnumbered and retreated. In all, 8 Americans were killed and 10 more were wounded. Concord. The British Army headed towards Concord 5 miles away, expecting the colonists to run away here too. The British entered Concord and began searching for the weapons and ammunition. Most of the colonists moved to the other side of the North Bridge and watched the British. As they waited, more militia arrived from surrounding towns. The British began settling fire in Concord. The Americans got very angry and decided to cross the North Bridge towards the British troops standing guard. The British troops began firing, and the Americans fired back. The British soon realized that the Patriot soldiers were growing in number, so they retreated across the North Bridge. The Patriots did not stop. They continued firing from behind trees and stone walls. They followed the soldiers all the way back. This was the first battle that gave the Americans confidence that they could fight for liberty. It also showed the rest of the world that the colonists would fight for their freedom. This was the beginning of the Revolutionary War.